Hello everyone, Santan2, welcome to another mod overview, this time on color-coded portals, a mod that adds different colored rods, as well as the ability for you to have access to dimensions. So what you want to do is get yourself a rod, which is just a stick and a die, and seems to apply to every other rod, and there's also dimensions as you can see there. And you'll want a wool nether portal shape, and then from there just right click and you can see it'll create it like so. Obviously I'm in creative, so I'm just breaking this, I think. Trying to see. Yep, so I'm in creative, so that's why. They do have durability though, the same as flint and steel, so 64 there. And I have covered up the following just to see that if it will trap the particles, and it has. But if we actually go in, I'm assuming we may see possibly a wool dimension, or just some color dimension of sorts, so the particles are going back and forth. We'll go between both portals just to see what happens, unless it just is a empty dimension you can just fall into. Yep, so it's mostly a void dimension with the color of the following. As you can see, obviously the end biome there, and possibly nothing else nearby. So just an empty dimension you can just expand off of and do whatever you really want with it. It's just it matches a sky color for the most part. So we'll go through here. I'm assuming it'll do a completely different one color-wise for the sky, but obviously no blocks in sight. It doesn't say anything about additional structures and such, so I'm assuming they're just end or void portals of sorts, and you can build whatever you want in there. You could probably easily get certain farms and otherwise going. Since it is the end, I'm assuming it may focus on just natural enderman generation, I would assume. I don't know in particular. Or you could just possibly have something set up for breeding there if you didn't have space elsewhere in the overworld, or you didn't want to do stuff in the nether or end on its own. You want to just a dimension to start from scratch, build farms, live in, and other such things. I will actually try with beds though to see if, because this is the end, so I'm assuming it'll act exactly like the end, with water, a bed, and so on. So we'll just get a few cobble blocks here, and we'll stretch it out. And we'll see what happens there. So you can place water in this. Yep, so you could grow crops here, use a bed. Let's see. I'm assuming it just won't work. Possibly get enough blocks to be able to take a drop off, because I always forget if beds are acceptable in the end. Ooh. Cliffs and such. There's a bed down, nothing. So nothing with a bed there. Can't say for the end itself, but I'm pretty sure that it just doesn't work. Most of it's even the nether, it explodes, and the overworld it works perfectly fine. But yeah, that should be pretty much it. You can obviously just use it like so, even though it's for portal igniting. And you can have different sky-coloured dimensions to do whatever you want in. Obviously, go in and it is instantaneous, you don't have to wait like the others typically, and we'll fall to our death. Okay. And that is also going to happen if you don't have enough of a platform nearby, I'm assuming. And possibly just in a random location as well. So probably best to not fall off these, which is an accident, but probably a good sign as well. So it doesn't take you to the end. The overworld like the end does. So that's interesting. Keep that in mind. Thanks so much for watching, and goodbye. Actually, we'll try with a... Oh, I don't have an angel block. If I did, then I would use blocks to build us out of here, but I can't. Oops. Oh well.